Hey everybody, it is Tier or Webkins Fan Anyone here, and I want you guys to feel special because I put on makeup just for this video, just for you. Feel special because I really wasn't feeling makeup today at all. Alright, so first things first, my cat was rolling around on a box and just fell off the edge. I am that owner who's gonna laugh. First things first is actually about my cat. She's just now she's glaring at me, so maybe she won't be a little noisy today, but she may be a little bit noisy during this video. I don't know. She was kind of rolling around and meowing a lot. If you hear any meowing, that's what that is. Second, you're probably going to hear a lot of cars driving by in the background. It's very hot right now. My AC unit is in my bedroom, and I don't really want to film a video in my bedroom right now. I need to get some video stuff done, so I have to be out in the living room, and it's very hot out here, so I have the window open. I'm sorry guys, I live like literally right on a busy road, so my apologies. Fair warning before I get started, this video is not meant for anybody under, I'm gonna say 16. However, this video could help out some people who are younger. The content in it is a little bit more mature, I guess, so that's why I'm just going with a safe 16. If you are under 16 and you are choosing to watch this video and you get offended by something I say or the topics that are talked about, or if your parents or guardians are not happy with it, I have warned you. Just saying. Okay, so if you're not aware, June is Pride Month. Pride Month is just a month for anybody who is LGBT plus to celebrate being who they are, and this includes me. First of all, I'm gonna tell you, please always say LGBT plus. If you don't want to say every single letter, that's fine, but not having the plus does exclude other sexualities, so please always include that plus. Something I still see to this day, and it annoys me to no end, and this is because I am asexual. So if you take that plus out and you're not using all the other letters, you are actually excluding me. And unfortunately right now, for asexuals and aromantics, it's extremely hard to get any kind of I don't want to say exposure because that's not really the right word I want to go for, but it's very hard to get recognized. I guess we'll go with that. This may be because generally compared to other sexualities, we are kind of a minority. You're not as likely to find as many asexuals. Like, you know, if you walk into like a room of 100 people, there's not going to be very many people in that room, if any at all, depending on, you know, the people in the room that are going to be asexual or aromantic. I can't speak much on aromantic myself because I'm not, but I can speak about asexuals, which is why I'm here to educate you. The reason I'm doing this is A, because it's Pride Month, and B, because a lot of people don't know what asexual means, or they have the wrong idea. And I'm gonna tell you this, I didn't know I was asexual until I was in my 20s. I think I was 22. I mean, I went through a period of time where I had to really come to terms with it and accept myself, but it would have helped me out, honestly, a lot sooner in my life if I had known. I'm not gonna get too personal about my experience. I don't want to, you know, just be out here spewing about my personal life, but I will talk a little bit about my experience just to kind of give you an idea, or at least in my experience, I guess. I can only really speak for myself. Asexual really just means a person who has no sexual attraction at all. No sexual attraction. That is the umbrella term. There are different types of aces. Ace is short for asexual, but generally it means that you don't experience sexual attraction. Some people do experience it under certain circumstances, but they still qualify as asexual. What is sexual attraction? I don't know. I can't tell you because I don't know. I don't experience it. All I know is like what people have told me. And some people who do experience it can't explain it either. This is really the only example I have. My husband is not an asexual. He's, if you want to use this term, it's the opposite, allosexual, which is a person who experiences sexual attraction. I've asked him so many times, like, what is it like? What does it feel like? And he can't really explain it to me, so I don't know. I have tried to understand at least the concept of it, and I don't know. It's different for everybody, I think. I'm sorry, I'm not a lot of help there. How do I know that I don't experience it? Basically because I have never looked at a person and felt this like magnetic attraction. I've never looked at a person and been like, I want to kiss or do things with that person. Like, never in my life. There's never been any kind of anything like that. That's how I know. And for a long time in my life, sex wasn't important to me at all. I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything, really, by not having sex. Like, I just had no interest in it. I didn't understand why people were so obsessed with it. So I'm not gonna go much further than that because it does kind of get into more personal things. For me, that's like the base, like that's how I know. Here is one important thing to remember about asexuals. We are not all the same. At all. You could have 6 asexuals together and they might all have different experiences. There are some asexuals who are sex repulsed, which means they don't have any interest whatsoever. The idea of having sex might actually make them sick. They just don't want anything to do with it. They never want sex in their life. They just do not want it. There are some people who are not necessarily repulsed, but they're not really interested in it. They don't feel like they need it. They don't really have any desire to ever do it with somebody. There are some people who are like this, who are in very healthy and happy relationships, and they and their partner just don't really do that. They find other ways to be affectionate without doing anything. And then there are people like me who do have sex. There are different, I guess, kind of levels to that too. Like, there are some people who may not get any pleasure out of it, who may not get anything personal out of it, but they enjoy it because they make their partner happy, because they just want to share that with their partner. Whatever reason, they might not personally enjoy it the same way like a person who is allosexual might enjoy it, but they still want to do it. And there are some people who do experience pleasure. They do enjoy having sex. They just don't have that sexual attraction to people. Going off of that, here is another thing to keep in mind. Sexual attraction and libido are 2 different things. They are not the same thing. You may never experience sexual attraction, but you may have a normal, healthy libido, which means you may have an interest in sex and experience an urge for it. Like, you may get, you may want it. I'm gonna go with that. That's safe. But never experience sexual attraction at all. 2 totally different things. I'm bringing this up because a lot of people tend to just assume because a person doesn't have sexual attraction means that they don't want sex ever in their life. Being asexual does not mean that you are abstinent or chaste. You might be. You could be, absolutely. But not everybody is that way. As somebody who is not that way, it is extremely irritating to see jokes on the internet made by aces about how we don't have any interest in sex, how like we don't want it. And I'm like, well, not everybody is like that. Like, great, awesome. You are like that. That's awesome. You're valid. You are valid. I'm not saying you're not. But don't make general assumptions like that, because jokes like that do more harm than good. For this very reason, because then people see things like that and they're like, haha, that's funny. And then they start to assume that every asexual is the same. And I'm not just saying this because I have personally gotten comments. I am, as of making this, pregnant. There are people who, when they found out, were surprised because they thought that I would never have kids because I'm asexual. I was told by a friend who, first of all, I'm pretty sure knows that I am intimate with my husband, that he couldn't believe that an asexual was having kids. Do not please ever assume just because somebody's asexual that they don't have sex. You should never go to an asexual and ask them straight up, very personal questions, of course. If they are willing to disclose that to you by their choice, that's one thing. Like, if you really want to know, just ask, are you comfortable talking about your experiences? I want to learn more and I want to understand more. That's fine. Like, it just goes for anybody. Like, you don't walk up to somebody and be like, hey, what's your sex life like? Like, you don't do that ever. So another thing to understand is just because you're asexual doesn't mean you can't be attracted to people. There are other kinds of attraction. You can be romantically attracted to people. You can be aesthetically attracted to people. Aesthetic attraction is when you look at somebody and you're like, oh yeah, they're attractive. I can be attracted to people without having sexual attraction. There are plenty of people I see that I'm like, yeah, they're cute. I can enjoy a pretty face. What can I say? I can enjoy a handsome face. There are people, like certain actors that I see in movies and I'm like, yeah, they're attractive. but I don't want to like jump into the screen and do things with them. That's kind of the difference. Is aesthetic attraction is really appreciating an attractive, a handsome, a gorgeous face. Think about, so the word aesthetic, you're like, oh, like space is my aesthetic. It makes you happy. You like looking at it. It goes for people too. Romantic attraction is obviously when you have romantic feelings for somebody. Obviously, like I'm romantically attracted to my husband. Asexual people can be very happy in relationships, romantic relationships. They may not choose to ever date, and that's okay. For me personally, I'm married, I'm happy, I love my husband, I find him attractive, and just because I do things with him doesn't mean I find him sexually attractive, which does kind of sound like an insult when you put it that way, but he knows, he understands. He's been with me for like, oh my goodness, I don't know, since 2014, however many years that is. Like, he understands at this point, understands my experience. If somebody came up to him and was like, hey, like, what does it mean that your wife's asexual? He could tell them the basics, probably couldn't really get into like specifics or would want to because he wants to respect my privacy, but he understands. And he understands I'm never gonna be sexually attracted to him. I kind of hoped. Demisexual means you develop a sexual attraction with somebody once you have a very, very close, personal, deep relationship. It doesn't mean like you just start dating them and you're like, ah, yeah, cool, we're together. No, you have this like very deep personal bond. Like in my case, like a very personal bond with my husband. We're married. I was hoping once upon a time that maybe this would happen to me, and it doesn't. That's not there, and it's okay. It doesn't mean I'm broken. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with me. I just don't have it. Asexual is like kind of an umbrella term, and like I said earlier, like there's different types. That is a type of asexual. It means that you are asexual, but you just have to, there's that very specific like requirement. So it doesn't make you any less asexual. It just means you're a little different. I hope I have helped you. The purpose of making this is to educate, and maybe there's somebody watching this that you have feelings like this. A lot of times asexuals who don't know they're asexual feel out of place. You know, all their friends are talking about like, you know, how hot somebody is, that they like want to get intimate with somebody, and they just feel out of place because they don't have feelings like this. A lot of people who experience that, once they find out what an asexual is and they realize that that's who they are, they feel like they found themselves. So even if there's nobody that ever watches this that sees this and goes, oh my gosh, I think that's me, that's okay. I still want to get it out there, and I hope someday that like I don't have to have the ace talk with somebody. The ace talk is my term for when I have to break this down and tell somebody what asexual is, and I have to tell them, you know, like the differences, like how everybody's different, all that. I call that the ace talk because it's not just, oh yeah, it means this, because there's always questions. They don't understand, and I have to explain it because they do want to understand, or I want them to understand, and they don't. So I hope someday, you know, if somebody goes, oh cool, you're asexual, that's awesome, and they know what it means, and I never have to explain that. Like that's honestly my hope. All right guys, I have to go edit this actually before work. Bye everybody. I know this is kind of a weird video for my Webkins channel, but I have more viewers here than my other channel, and I think it'll do more good to put this video here versus my other channel. Bye.